Good morning and happy 2022. Thanks for joining us here at Foothills for our online service for our 11 a.m. I'm Sean, one of the ministers who gets to serve alongside Reverend Lane and Reverend Gretchen for this wonderful congregation. Now, this service is going to be a little different than some of our other services. It's our annual fire communion service, this opportunity where we mark the passing of time with intention and reflecting on what we want to let go of as we move into this year ahead. And we take physically what we want to let go of and we toss it into the fire so it can be burned away and we can move forward. Now, our 11 o'clock service is usually a rebroadcast of our 9 o'clock online service. And that's going to be sort of the case too. So we're going to move into that recording in a few minutes. But we wanted to give you, our 11 o'clock people, the opportunity to still participate live in the morning. And so you're invited. So what you're going to see is the broadcast of the service, but you're also going to see a live feed of the fire. So in real time, I'm going to be tending the fire, and you're invited to send us what you want to be put into the fire to burn. And you can do that by going to http://foothills.org/fire. So that's foothills.org/fire. You can go there and type what you want to be released into the fire during the service, and then we will write it down and toss it into the fire for you. So that part will be live, so you get to participate in that. But the rest of the stuff is going to be a recording from the first service. As I said, sometimes in worship, we sometimes expect to hear wisdom from other people, but today we're going to turn the tables and we're going to spend some time reflecting together. We're going to be delving within, unearthing our own insights as we reflect back on 2021 and we move into 2022 with some new intentions. So if you haven't grabbed your pen, some book, some paper, I invite you to do that now. Grab some coffee, some tea, get cozy, because this is going to be an opportunity for all of us to reflect. As we're reflecting, we like to start out with a community time question to kind of prime the pump. So if you were to think about your year, 2021, as a book or a movie, what would the title have been? I think mine might be something like Great Expectations or In and Out or Quarantined Again. I'm not sure, those aren't very witty, but I'd love to see what yours. You can drop it in Facebook in the comments, or if you're with other people watching on your TV, just turn to one another and share. It's a really good versions in the first service. Well, I'm going to begin with these words from poet Amanda Gorman. You might remember her delivering the poem at Biden's inauguration. This is a new poem that she wrote for this year. And this is the beginning. May this be the day we come together. Mourning we come to mend, withered we come to weather, torn we come to tend, battered we come to better. Tethered by this year of yearning, we are learning that though we weren't ready for this, we have been readied by it. We steadily vow that no matter how we are weighed down, we must always pave a way forward. This hope is our door, our portal. Even if we never get back to normal, someday we can venture beyond it to leave the known and take the first steps. So let us not return to what was normal, but reach towards what is next. And light our chalice with these words, these hopes for next year. Will you join me in our covenant? Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Well, I know it's already been a hard week here in Colorado, with the climate-induced marshal fire erupting in Boulder County, and within hours, hundreds of homes destroyed and 2 people yet unaccounted for. I know many of us know people who've been impacted, whether that be evacuated or having lost their homes and belongings. It's a lot. And I know that many of us are wondering about the ways we can help, and we'll talk about that later on in the service. But I invite us to enter into a time of prayer and contemplation for all that is going on in our lives. These words from Senior Minister Gretchen Haley. As winter wildfires rage and the virus surges again and again, even in this frozen world, let us set our eyes on softness. Kindle compassion steadfast like the wide sky and willingness to change with our hearts refusing to close, arms refusing to turn away the stranger, the neighbor, the light, which beckons still. Let us be willing. Let us be those unwilling to miss the beauty, stubborn in our hope, persistently turning towards good. Whatever this year brings, let us know ourselves as partners in this great project, bending the arc towards love, partners small and also significant, courageous, and also surrendering to the mystery, this story that is so much greater than any of us, so much more than any of us can see. In this new year, let us make friends with joy. In the middle of the day, celebration. Before the dishes have been done, we hold our grief with tenderness. We honor for the love that persists. We give thanks with every breath and practice kindness with every step, assuming everyone is doing the best they can, including us. Every day as the sun rises and sets, let us remember we need not wait for a new year to be the people we are called to be. It's never too late to begin again. Let us continue this time of contemplation in song.
Winds be still, storm clouds pass, in silence come, peace grace this time with harmony. Fly, bird of hope, and shine, light of love, and in calm little find tranquility. Bird, fly high, lift our gaze toward distant view, help us to sense life's mystery. Fly high and far and lead us each to see how we move through the winds of eternity. Take a breath. Let this song be a prayer, a meditation, sending peace and love to all. Light shine in, illuminate our inward view, help us to see with clarity. Shine bright and true so we may join our songs in new sounds that become full symphonies. Winds be still, storm clouds pass, and silence come, peace grace this time with harmony. Fly, bird of hope, and shine, light of love, and in calm
This year after the fires, we wondered if it would be appropriate for us to do fire communion. We humans have had a complex relationship with fire for pretty much our entire evolutionary existence. Fire has warmed us and scorched us. It has provided us the tools to build civilizations, and it has wiped them out. Fire teaches us that the old must transform and release itself into its elements to make way for the new, but also that when we upset the balance of our ecosystem, thinking somehow that we can stand apart from the web of life around us, that this is a recipe for destruction. Doing fire communion now, I think, in light of the fires that have become all too close and known to us, all too destructive, I think actually helps us bring the correct reverence to fire. That releasing and letting go is by nature an act that invites destruction, that something must be demolished to make way for the new, and that we shouldn't do this work lightly. And so as we approach these cleansing fires, we know the pain of letting go, but also the possibility for renewal that it brings. This is the two sides of the coin. Letting go, but also renewal of destruction, but also newness. And I think especially at this time, we should resist the impulse within ourselves to burn down what I think of as our inner old growth, trying to sacrifice the inner treasures within ourselves on the altar of productivity culture or fat phobia or other attempts to pin our worth to societal standards. I think so many of our New Year's resolutions can be summed up as trying to be better rather than trying to be confident in our own worthiness. And then when we fail at those attempts, we only are left with a sense of shame or a deep sense of unworthiness because we've yet again not been able to attain unattainable standards. And so in this year, I hope that we can use this fire ritual, this time of reflection, to cultivate intention and attention towards our own worthiness, for the practices and the ways of being that enhance that rather than trying to chip away at parts of ourselves because society or other people would want us to. But there is so much for us to let go of. And we do need to let go of much to be able to step forward. And so that's why we are going to spend this time reflecting together. I'm going to give us a few prompts, and we're going to spend about 5 minutes reflecting on the prompts. The first few are focused on looking back at 2021, and then we'll have some time to look forward. But before we get to that, I wondered if one of you would help me get us in the reflecting mood by being put on the spot for like a lightning round reflection. So you'll turn on your camera, turn on your microphone. I'll ask you a few questions and you'll just kind of quickly rapid fire reflect back on your year just to kind of get us in the mood. Is anyone game to try? I see some of you laughing like, oh, I don't know if that's me. Come on, someone's there. They're not too hard questions. Don't worry. All right, Melissa, you gonna do it? All right. Let's pin you. Perfect. You want to unmute for a sec there? All right, Melissa, you ready?
I guess.
Okay. What was one of your best moments this year?
Taking a road trip with my daughter to California.
What was the biggest surprise of the year?
My husband quit his job.
What was the wisest decision that you made this year?
Not to freak out about my husband quitting his job.
What's the most important thing that you did for someone else this year?
I supported my dad in a couple of health issues and then moving him to
to independent living in a place where he was more safe.
Hmm. What person or people had the most impact on you this year?
God. The volunteers that work at the nonprofit I work with, and probably my brother. He worked closely on the dad thing.
All right, this last one, it's a good question, and it's a little bit hard. So if you can't answer it right away, you can put your answer in the chat. What compliment would you like to have received this year?
I guess, well, the first thing that's coming to mind is that you're doing fine. You're doing fine.
Amen. That's a great message. All right, that's it. Thank you. Thanks, Alyssa. I appreciate you jumping into the hot seat. We might have, yes, everyone's clapping. We might have another opportunity for that in a little bit. So if you're like, maybe I want to do that, stay tuned. But I'm going to invite Tanner to bring up our questions. And so this first set of questions, we're going to spend about 5 minutes on. And these are going to be focusing on kind of the big moments from this year. And so thinking about the big moments, our biggest gratitudes, accomplishments, and challenges. And so I invite you to spend the time where you're called. And so it could be that one of the questions you want to spend the whole 5 minutes on, or you kind of want to just jot down notes under each of them, whatever feels right for you. We'll spend about 5 minutes reflecting together. I have my notebook. I'm going to be reflecting alongside you all. And then we'll have a time to just check in afterwards. So I think Tanner's going to play some music for us so we can have a soundtrack, but let's spend some time reflecting on the big moments from 2021.
Loosen, loosen, baby, you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby, you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Holy breath and holy name, will you ease this pain? Holy breath and holy name, will you ease this pain? Loosen, loosen, baby, you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Holy baby, and holy carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, ease this pain. Holy baby, and holy carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Holy baby, and holy carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. We are moving in wider circles. We are opening our circle. We are moving in wider circles. We are opening our circle. Oh, be a compass. I'll be your lighthouse. Speak your words with triumph. I will watch your mouth. I'll march with you, my sister, to your place of fearing. to the mountaintop. We'll hold back the dynamite, make the rumble stop. We are moving in wider circles. We are opening our circle. We are moving in wider circles. We are opening our circle. Oh, be a pillar. I'll be your mockingbird. We'll sing the rock of ages. Yes, we will be heard. Let's form a great salvation through harmony and sound. We'll know the shape of progress, like nature's always round. Like nature's always round. We are moving in wide circles. We are opening our circle. We are moving in wider circles. We are opening our circle. We are moving in wider circles. We are opening our circle. We are moving in wider circles. We are opening our circle.
Don't know about you, but I definitely put survival as the top thing on my accomplishments for this year. Yeah, it's just me. I would love to know if anything stuck out to you as something kind of one of the best moments or biggest accomplishments or biggest gratitudes that you had, even maybe one of the challenges. You can drop it in the chat just to see kind of what year we've had. I know it's been a big one for a lot of us. Anything that you didn't know was so big, but when you reflect back, you're like, wow, that really had an impact. Internships, vaccinations, sending 65 caring kits. Yeah, I have to say I am so blown away by our caring kit team. Jen and everyone else that's involved has just been amazing at sending these beautiful kits to members of our community when they're going through rough times. So kudos to them and just thank you. Starting to walk again. Yeah, Mary Louise, it is so good to see you here in the Zoom. You've been in our hearts for so long in your journey, and so it is so good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Beauty of staying home, having a baby, some gratitude for some caring kits, overcoming broken femurs through surgery and PT, which is hard work, Margie. So I'm so glad your husband is able to do that. Moving to Colorado on the winds of hope for a new beginning. Yes, lots. Letting go of control when illness and other challenges come along. These are great. You can keep them coming. All right, so our next round of reflections, we're going to put the questions in the chat so you have them there and we'll display them. It's going to be a time to kind of go a little bit deeper into maybe some of the growth areas or pains or challenges that we've had this year. So the questions are, what has kind of weighed heavy on your heart throughout the year? What emotions or sensations were steadfast companions? How did I grow as a person? What are 3 lessons that I've learned from this past year? And these are like big questions. So I invite you to do what Parker Palmer invites us whenever we look at questions, which is to answer the question that's right for us. So you can pick one of them and just spend some time with it, or you can ask yourself the right question, even if it isn't written there. But this is kind of an opportunity to name kind of the harder places or the growth places and spend some time really unearthing some kind of wisdom from that. So we'll spend again another 5 minutes reflecting. Tanner, if we could bring up those questions on the slide, that would be great. So we can pick one question. We'll spend about 5 minutes reflecting together.
loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Holy breath and holy name, will you ease this pain? Holy breath and holy name, will you ease this pain? Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. And holy, carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, ease this pain. Holy baby, and holy, carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Holy baby, and holy, carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go.
I know we could spend a lot more time on those questions, but I would love to hear from a few people just as you were thinking about those places that you've grown, and those challenges over this year. What kind of rose to the surface? If you want to just wave, and love to hear from a few of you. Who's gonna take it? All right, Lisa. Where did you notice your growth this year? Or what did you know as you're thinking, as you're reflecting, what came up for you? Oh, I can't hear you. Is that just me?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. All right. I went with lessons I learned this year. I transferred so much generational anxiety, perfection, expectation onto my son by trying too hard. So many of my struggles in my life have been related to my tongue tie that I got a surgery on this year, and the connection I have to the physical and the spiritual. And third, how privileged I am and starting to see the power and the path of gratitude.
Thank you, Lisa. Those are really big things to be learning, lessons to learn. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
Who else would like to share? Now that Lisa's broken the ice a little bit. Oh, Mary Louise.
I think
All right.
you're
unmuted. Go
I'm
ahead.
unmuted.
Yeah.
What has come to me is reprioritizing the things that are important. And realizing that small steps forward can be really big steps. And how important that is, and how important it is to share those steps with Jim.
You can just feel the weight of that you're carrying, like the truth of that for you in your voice as you're speaking.
Yeah, I've let go of a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear, and am really appreciating the small things at home. It's just good to be home.
Amen. Amen. It's good. As I said, it's so good to see you home.
Thank you. It's good to be home and good to be with you.
Thanks. All right, I think we have time for one more person to share. Does anyone else want to venture to share? Tara. I think you just need to unmute. There you go. Go ahead.
I wanted to say that one of the 3 lessons I learned, just learning to respond instead of react, that love and gratitude are the most important emotions, and everything you need can be found within yourself.
Powerful lessons. Thanks for sharing. Appreciate it. Oh. All right, we're going to move into our last reflection on 2021. And so this is going to be an opportunity for us to reflect kind of directly on what we might need to let go of, where there's maybe places for forgiveness. What is the kind of wisdom that's within us that we need to be connecting to, just like Dara was saying about that, what we have within us. And this is a great opportunity to reflect. If you haven't submitted something into our burning, into our fire, you can go to foothillsuu.org/fire and write what you want to be burned. And as you can see there, they're tending to the fire right now. So the questions for this last round of reflecting on 2021, putting them in the chat, are: what do I need to let go of? Where is forgiveness needed? And what is the little voice within me whispering it's time to end? And as usual, answer the question that is right for you, even if it is not written on the slide. And we'll take about 5 minutes to think about what we're releasing from this year.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we cry. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive in this great turning. We shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle around to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive.
We rise, humbly hearted, rise, won't be divided, rise, Spirit to guide us, rise, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. We rise, all of the children rise, elders with wisdom rise, ancestors surround us rise, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. And we rise up from the wreckage, rise with tears and courage, rise fighting for life, rise, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. We rise, humbly hearted, rise, won't be divided, rise, Spirit to guide us, rise.
Well, I'm already seeing some of you putting in the chat what you're wanting to let go of, and I would invite the rest of you, if you feel so moved, to do the same. Letting go of those strong beliefs around the embodied value and connection to others through the things that I have. Letting go of tending to everyone else's needs before my own. Letting go of that negative self-judgment. Letting go of feeling I can handle everything on my own without help from others. Letting go of that negative self-talk. They're great. Hey, there it is, showing up there, about to be burned, that negative self-talk. Not being good enough, the sense that we control any of this, and I love how you wrote that, Sue, any of this. So true. One of the deep lessons of the pandemic. Letting go of that fear of missing out of all of my life, trying to let go of sudden rage. Still not successful, but it's a journey. Well, now that we've spent some time looking backwards, it's an invitation for us to look forwards at the year that's to come. And so there's going to be some questions for looking ahead. My secret wish for the year ahead, where I will place my intention this year. One of my favorite questions, what are some things I could start doing that would guarantee an absolutely horrible year? you're in a mood of kind of going backwards into it. Who or what other than myself am I most committed to loving and serving? What am I looking forward to learning? Brings me joy, and how am I going to do that? And what shifts would unlock more love in life? We're going to spend about 5 minutes looking ahead to this year of 2022. And as you look at those questions, pick the right prompt for you, the one that's, going to bring you to the right sort of intention and attention for this year ahead. They're all great places, but you'll know the one to start reflecting on. And we'll spend our final 5 minutes reflecting together.
We are moving in wider circles. We are opening our circles.
Well, as you're finishing up our 5 minutes, I'd love to know if you want to put in the chat what you're looking ahead to, those intentions that you're going to be bringing. And does anyone want to share anything that came up for them as they were reflecting? Anyone want to share anything quickly about their reflections on this year ahead? Looking around. All right, Chris, you're going to go. Perfect. I asked you to unmute. There you go.
Okay, can you hear me? I love this horrible year thing. That was really cool. So for a great horrible year for me, I would start by blaming others at home and work. I would selfishly hoard things that give me pleasure personally, kind of close out all my family, keep them far away. Focus on everything out of my personal control, actually, lots and lots of news. And I think I'd maximize drama in my life. I'd just make sure that there was lots of angst and anxiety around things. And in fact, I wouldn't really even get started with all this because I procrastinate everything until 2023. So let's kind of push it all off till next year.
Sounds like you're in for a great year, Chris. We'll check in and see how it's going in a couple months. Thanks for that.
Okay, well, it'll happen next year. So.
Oh yeah, well, okay, we'll check in 2023 and see how it went or how it didn't go. All right, anyone else want to share something that came up for them as they were thinking about this next year? You can put it in the chat or you can wave, and we have time for kind of one more person to share. Let's see. Looking around. Maybe. Come on, it has to be one person. Oh, Emery, there we go. I'm giving you a pin. All right, asking to unmute. If you unmute yourself, you're ready to go.
I am ready to put behind a lot from 2021 of a lot of stress and illness, family illness and death and just, all of it. And I'm super excited because we're getting married this year. And so it is going to be an incredible 2022. And I look forward to a healthier year and a year of creating more community in my life and being open to continued change and growth. So I'm excited about 2022.
Yay for weddings and for excitement. Thanks for sharing. Oh, well, if you're thinking that 20 minutes of reflection wasn't enough time for you to kind of really delve into this last year and what's in the year ahead, I'm going to invite you to join an online group that we're going to start called Year in Review. And basically for the next 2 or so weeks, each day, we're going to post a question, a prompt just like this, and we're going to invite you to reflect on it and share your reflections. And so it'll be in an online space in our deeper community. It'll be an opportunity to keep this kind of reflectivity going as we start the year and to be in a community with other people. So you can click that link that I put in the chat and join, and we'll kind of continue the reflections together into the new year. I think there is a power of doing it, having accountability and other people doing it with you, but also seeing what other people are reflecting on, I know helps me in my reflections. So I hope you'll join me and other people in doing that together. Well, we're coming to the top of the hour, and so it's time to kind of close out our service. And for this, we're gonna take a special offering this Sunday for our Share the Plate, which is going to be going directly to the UU Disaster Response Fund. Now, there's been a lot of outpouring of support right now for those who are affected by the Marshall fires. We know that some members of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Boulder may have lost homes, and even the UU the Fellowship in Lafayette, the Boulder Valley Fellowship. And so we know that there's needs out there. But we also know that when there's a crisis event, when something like this happens, there's an outpouring of desires to help that isn't always aligned with how that help should be received. It can actually be really overwhelming to receive a bunch of physical things, and there's some collections that are going on. And so that's why we're going to focus on supporting our church's effort through supporting this UU Response Fund that members of those communities and those churches can activate on behalf of people who are impacted. And it's a fund that is ongoing, and it supports communities around the country who are being impacted by natural disasters. And so if we know that there's 10 families that are connected to the UU Church of Boulder or the Boulder Valley Fellowship that have lost their house in the fires. So you can donate at the link that's in the chat or by texting 84320 and then texting the amount that you want plus the word share. And all of that will be given equally to support our work and to support the work of the Disaster Relief Fund. So as you're giving the offering, we're going to do our closing song, which I think really tees up, I think, how we can approach this world, this year, and this world maybe. And yeah, I'll put the text number in the chat as we're listening. So let's move into our closing song.
Let the life I lead speak for me. Let the life I lead speak for me. Oh, when I come to the end of my road, lay down my heavy load. Let the life I lead speak for me. Let the work I do speak for me. Let the work I do speak for me. When I do all that I can, my friends don't understand. Let the work I do speak for me. Let the songs I sing speak for me. Let the songs I sing speak for me. When I lift my voice and sing, it changes everything. Let the songs I sing speak for me. Let the love I share speak for me. Let the love I share speak for me. When I open up my heart, make a brand new start. Let the love I share speak for me. Let the friends I keep speak for me. Let the friends I keep speak for me. When I draw the circle wide, let everyone inside. Let the friends I keep speak for me. Let the life I lead speak for me.
I close our words with the remaining portion of Amanda Gorman's poem. What was cursed we will cure, what was plagued we will prove pure. Where we tend to argue, we will try to agree. Those fortunes we forsworn, now the future we foresee. Where we weren't aware, we now awake. Those moments we missed are now these moments we make. The moments we meet and our hearts, once all together beaten, now all together beat. Come, look up with kindness yet, for even solace can be sourced from sorrow. We remember not just for the sake of yesterday, but to take on tomorrow. We heed this old spirit in a new day's lyric. In our hearts we hear it, for Olan Sign, my dear, for Olan Sign. Be bold, saying time this year, be bold, saying time. For when you honor yesterday, tomorrow ye will find. Knowing what we've fought need not be forgot, nor for none. It defines us, binds us as one. Come over, join this day, just begun. For wherever we come together, we will forever overcome. Thank you for being together in reflection this Sunday. Blessings for this beginning of the year. Our service is over, and yet our service to this world just begins. So go in peace and in love.